Alright guys, welcome to another fun workout. We are going to hit a full body strength focus. Heart rate will be elevated so you get a little bit of that cardio aspect. We will need some weights or bands and some space. That's about it, and some energy. So we are going to start off, everything's going to be a minute or longer work periods. We are going to start with just 2 exercises, kind of continue any warm-up that you just did, getting the body going some more. We're going to do 1 minute of each exercise till we've done 3 of each. So the first, we are going to load it either 1 dumbbell, you could go a kettlebell, or 2 dumbbells for a little bit heavier, or you could load that with a band, and of course body weight is an option. We're going to do 1.5 squats. So we're going to come all the way down through our squat, come up just a little bit, drop that booty back down again, and then all the way up. So all the while grabbing the ground with our feet, down, up a little bit, back down, all the way up. So we're going to spend a minute at that, and then we're going to go into a renegade row. So here, if you have 2 dumbbells, great time to add some resistance here, lock the body in, pull the elbow back towards the rib cage, and then alternate. If you would like, you can do that with a body weight option. All right, so again, we are going a minute apiece of those 2 exercises, starting with our squat. So grab what you're going to load that squat with. So again, dumbbell, kettlebell. I'll show with the band here for this first minute. And ready or not, here we go. All right, so all the way down, come up a little bit, back down to the top. So 1.5 squats. Again, that little bounce at the bottom, trying to go so low to where you're almost resting. Keeping engagement there. Again, we have a full minute. So just take this at a nice, even, steady pace. Think about looking up. Again, think about those hips dropping straight down and then coming back up out of that. Think about going through each foot evenly. A little bit more. You should feel heart rate going up here. Few more, guys. A little endurance here. You can always get rid of that resistance. All right. Usually when you think you're done, that's when it's going to be. All right, into that renegade row. So you can opt for 2 dumbbells. You can go body weight, or you can just hold a tall plank. So again, don't rush this one. We have a minute of work, and we're going to be doing 3 of these. So pull that dumbbell right back by the body. If you're going body weight, same deal. Elbow comes straight back. Then keep rocking that out. Always tough right in the beginning. That body's still getting used to what's going on. It's got to kick in to gear. Glue those toes down. Okay. All right, we're going back to that first exercise. So back to the squat. Again, taking it down, up a little, back down, all the way to the top. Good, so engaged at the bottom. We should feel glutes, quads. Try not to arch through our back, so ribs down, underneath those hips, grabbing the ground with the toes. Great way to start a workout on a high note, using that whole body. And breathe through. Make sure you're hitting that bottom part, so hips are aiming to go underneath the knees, then back a little higher. All right, back to the ground. Again, locked in, Elbow coming right back. So as you lift that arm, turn to the side. If you're looking down someone, we want to not shift the hips. So we shouldn't feel like we're rocking left, right. Okay, so really turn on that center. Keep going. Think about when you exhale. Exhale from here. Get some tension there through the belly, and then hold that tight. Think hip bones staying parallel to the ground, both toes staying equally into the ground. That's where the work comes in. Oh, and the weight you're pulling back. All right, guys, one more set of this. So one more time through. Again, hit that bottom half, drive up. Run full range. So we should be fully extended at the top through our legs, knees straight, and then back down. Again, controlled motion, last set of these. I'm gonna shut up and let you work. Good, challenge that depth. Try and get low with the hips, not with our shoulders or head. Almost there, guys. Remember, when it feels like you can't do another one, that's usually when you're almost to the end. Right there. All right, last set of renegade rows. So you want to be right on top of those wrists, driving back. If it does bother you with the dumbbell, you could alternate with a hand on the ground, pulling back. Just when you shift, to pick that up, try not to lift your hip. I see that a lot. We compensate for when we're changing and we lift the other hip. So both toes into the ground. Good, little focus. Come on, breathe through. Tension through the middle. Okay, all right, so you can shake that off. Moving to the side, we are going to use those dumbbells. I will reset our clock here. Okay, so again, keep our pieces of equipment close by. What we're going to do for this next part is we're going to have one movement that we're going to do for a minute. And then we're gonna go into a series of exercises for 4 minutes. So it's a 5-minute section, 1 minute of the first core movement, and then we're gonna do 3 strength exercises at our own pace for the remaining 4 minutes. So everything will be reps of 10 when we hit that at your own pace portion. So we have 1 minute of a sit through. So what that's gonna look like, so you're in that bear crawl position, knees are floating, we sit through. So I'm gonna turn, lifting the arm that I'm turning towards, and the opposite leg's gonna come through, and then I center back into that 4-point. Again, I'm turning left, left arm lifts, right arm kicks through, and then we're back to the center. So knees don't rest, I turn onto that foot, and I sit through. Now, option there, if that's a little too coordinated for you, you could opt to hold a bear crawl, or you can start to do a knee tap with that. So lift the toe, tap the knee. All right, so that is for a full minute. And then we're gonna use our resistance for push press, lunges, and deadlifts. So for the push press, we are going to go 2 dumbbells at the shoulder. Both are gonna pop up. control it back in, pop up, control back in. Okay, so those are staying right out in front, bringing them back in. If you only have one heavier dumbbell, you can do that end to end here. You could do that with a kettlebell, or you can do that with your band. So we're gonna go that. Then you're gonna go 10 lunges. So you can hold on to, again, both dumbbells. You can hold on to one, depending on your needs, 10 of those. So 10 presses, 10 lunges, and then you're gonna go 10 of an RDL. So hips back, dumbbells come to about mid-shin, coming back up, pulling through the hips, hamstrings, glutes. So again, you could hold one dumbbell, or you can do that with a band. So you would want to double your band, step into it, get the arms tight, arms stay straight. Again, hips initiate that, push through that ground, hips come back underneath. You should feel a little bit of booty there. All right, so 1 minute of sit through or bear crawl hold, and then we go for 4 minutes, 10, 10, 10. Overhead, lunge, and then RDL. I hope you guys are ready. Let's kill the rest there. 5 minutes on the clock. So it will be every minute here. Again, you're just gonna end up working, get in that bear position, and here we go. So if you're doing that sit through, whichever way you turn, that's the arm you lift. And then you have to kick the other leg through. So always returning to that 4-point position. Option here, hold, or option 2, lift, touch the knee. So I'm gonna continue that sit through. Do a little break dancer. Float through, turn on that foot, never letting those knees touch. Hips should not go much higher than your shoulders. Good, we got 15 seconds left here. All right, now we go into our movement. So 10 push presses, 10 lunges, 10 RDLs. So whatever you're using here, remember, controlled, back to the bottom. You're counting at your own pace. Good. Remember, magic number's 10. Once you got 10, going into those lunges, step back, come back up. Breathe. Make sure you're counting. You might end up a little bit ahead or a little bit behind me. And then we're gonna go into that RDL. So hips push back. Just naturally let the hands travel along the front and then come back up. Think about a rod going down your back. So you can't bend or arch except for at that hip. Once you got that 10, back to the overhead. So you're trying to get as many times through this as you can using challenging weights, or at least making do with what you have. Good. Don't worry about that beep. It's just going down through the minutes. And think about each leg getting to 90 degrees as one drops underneath. And then into that RDL. So hips right underneath shoulders, ankles right underneath the hips. So we don't want too wide. You just want a little bit of space between the feet. You should feel stretch through the hamstrings, push through the feet, come back up to the return. Remember, get to 10. So we have 1 minute left. So 1 minute left. And then we're gonna end up doing the same structure with new exercises. And then we're gonna do it all again. Doing great. Once you got that 10, into the lunge. Breathe. So if you push your strength training, you should be getting some sort of cardio benefit. Especially in the way we do these, not a lot of rest. Heart rate's gonna stay up. Oh, that's our 5 minutes, okay. So shake it out. We are just going to change exercises, same structure. Let's see, all right. So now we're gonna get a little bit more into the upper body. That was a little bit more lower body. And remember, we're gonna do that all again one more time. So our 1 minute exercise is going to work the back side or the core from the other direction. We're gonna do a reverse tabletop. So we're gonna come up into the reverse position. Now you can have your fingers here or you can turn around. Just kind of depends on where it feels best on you. Now if that's too much, a lot of people's shoulder mobility is gonna affect being able to be there, and then some strength through the posterior. So if that is not a feel-good position for you, and I'm not saying it's challenging, but it does not feel right, there's pain, we're gonna drop and go a bridge hold. So again, I want you to think about pushing those hips up, squeezing glutes, hamstrings, and then you're gonna hold there, just breathing and holding. So that's our minute exercise. Then our 10-10-10 is going to be a bent over row. So with our dumbbells and that hinge, we're going 10 total. If you have a band, you can step into it. Okay, I always like to set it up from the top in that hinge, and you can row here. So we're gonna do 10. Then we're gonna take dumbbells or band. We're gonna do 10 bicep curls. If you got a band, that's a continual loop and not a handle. Make sure you grab on the outside so thumbs are up so you can do a hammer curl. Okay, and then the last thing in that is going to be a plank press up. So we're gonna hit back, we're gonna hit biceps, and then we're gonna hit triceps. A little bit of core here as well. So you're in almost like a modified plank. So make sure hips are still forward. So think about a straight line from my knees through my hips to my shoulders, kind of at a diagonal. You don't want to be here. So push forward. So chest above elbows. You're gonna push into the hands, and then elbows come back down. Push into the hands, and then back down. Now, more advanced, you could do that from the toes. And also another way to make that harder is the farther under your elbows are, the harder it's gonna be to push up. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's hit the ground, either a bridge or that reverse tabletop. That's our first minute. Ready? Here we go. So lift, up, press those hips. Good, keep pressing up. Keep lifting everything up. Breathe in here and find your happy place. And kind of pushing down through the ground, so we're getting glutes, hamstrings. Again, kind of play with the hands to where it's best for you, depending on how your shoulders and elbows go. A little bit of endurance here. Keep pushing those hips up. If you find yourself start to falter, just kind of reset, lift back up. We're coming up in the last 15 seconds. Keep holding, keep breathing. Okay, so right into that bent over row, so you can grab dumbbells or band. So hinge back, weight in the hips, drive the elbows right close to the body, shoulder blades moving, count to 10. Once you got that 10, you're going into bicep curls. So again, you can be using that band. You can go palm up, or you can stay with a hammer curl where the thumbs are up, either one. So lift. Good. A little bit more here. Get to that 10, and then you're right into that plank press up. So now focusing on the back side of the arms. Again, in that kind of modified plank from the elbows, hips are forward, and then lower back down. So press to the hands, lower back down. All the way up. Again, make that harder by bringing the elbows in. Make sure you're counting. Remember, you're going to 10, and then you're moving right back to those bent over rows. Again, don't let the hips creep up. You're in that plank from the knees. Remember, you can add some speed behind this if you'd like. Make sure if you have options for weights, you're choosing moderate to heavy resistance. Again, in this position, slight bend to the knee, hips reaching back, so you have that weight through the lower body. Okay, then you go bicep curls. Now as you curl, let that elbow just slightly travel in front. You can remain by your side, but you don't want to keep the elbows too far back. You start to creep up weirdly into the shoulder. So that bicep doing the work here. And then once you got that 10, that tricep press up. Good, pressing right up through those hands. Control back down. Think both arms working evenly. We're into that last minute of work. Okay. Again, once you got that 10, moving on. Okay, when these 5 minutes are over with, we're gonna go right back to that first minute of that sit through or bear crawl hold. What's gonna happen is we're going to shorten the work just a little bit. Whoops, I was just rolling along. Good, breathing through here. Right to that last beep. Okay, so we are going right back to that first minute. So bear crawl position or the sit through. We're gonna go through that. We're gonna go 10, 10, 10 of the press, lunge, and then the RDL. And then we're gonna do that 2 times and then into our second grouping here. So here we go. 1 minute of work. Here we go. Sit through, come back to that center. Sit through, or option if you remember here, you can do a knee touch, and you can even lift the toe of the knee you're touching. So we're gonna fly through this here, one thing after the next. I'll cue you where we're going. No explanation needed. You've been on this adventure already. Now it's time to finish strong. Remember, whichever direction you go, that's the arm that lifts up, opposite leg comes through. 8 seconds. Okay, into the overhead press. Remember 10. Once you got the 10, then you go into the lunges. Into those lunges. 10. Good. Breathing. Once you got those 10 RDLs, so dumbbells come in front, hips go back, drive through the feet, pull the hips underneath. Once you got that 10, and you give just a few seconds here, we're gonna go into that last section. So 1 minute again with that plank hold, that reverse plank, or tabletop. So hopefully you're finishing up those reps. So you're gonna situate yourself. If you're just finishing up, go ahead, join us. Here we go into that reverse. So option would be that bridge hold, so here, or we're down here and we're holding up. Okay, so one or the other. Hold tight. Endurance, breathing. Good. Think about what you should be feeling. That whole back side of the body. Upper back's working. Maybe a little bit of tricep here. Glutes. Breathe. Remember, reset if you need. There shouldn't be pain. Should be challenge and fatigue. No pain. All right, now we're up. We're in 10 bent over rows, 10 bicep curls, and 10 of those press ups. So hinge position, row back. Drive in the elbows. Once you got the 10 bicep curls, all the way up, all the way down. Breathe as you go. This is where you can catch your breath. Good. Okay, once you got those 10 tricep press ups. Okay, so again, hips forward. You're in that plank, so we're still working core. Belly pulled up tight. Press up, right back down. Good, remember, make it harder. Pull those elbows back. Even through both arms, even, just same amount of work. Good. Once you got that 10, finish those reps, bring it back into that child's pose, take a few deep breaths. Breathe, long deep breaths. Now I want you to stay here till you bring that breathing back. Now, if you felt like you needed one more round of all that, feel free, go back through to that top, complete that whole circuit one more time, just that one time through of the lunge, or the press, the lunge, the RDL, and then you can do a row, bicep, tricep, and then call it a day. But thank you guys so much for working hard for me today. Thanks for joining me, and thank you for staying consistent with your fitness and your health.